In this video, we're going to be talking about natal moon in Virgo in the 11th house natally and what this placement means for you or somebody else when it's in the chart. And with that being said, the moon represents emotions in astrology. It represents things that we are sensitive to, and it represents emotional needs and our sense of security. It rules the 4th house, which is all about family and things that we care about or things that we depend on an internal level, but also on a practical level too. So it's the things that are important to us, and it's our sense of security or insecurity when those things are not fulfilled or when those sensations are threatened. So when the moon is in Virgo, which is all about details, and it's all about practicality and organization and predictability or familiarity or repetition, a lot of times these individuals that have this placement, in a general sense, have a need for things to be ordered in a certain way, especially when it comes to their time or when it comes to their routine and their day-to-day life, but also their possessions. You know, they can be very particular about how they want things to be organized in their home, or they just need for things to always be in the same place. So sometimes these people can be very organized, but other times if they are not organized, they just need for things to be familiar or predictable in their life. They don't like sudden change. They don't like novelty. They like things to make sense and for things to be familiar. Now, finally, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is all about information. So a lot of times these people have this need to be informed and to know facts and to know the specific truth, because Virgo is all about specifics, and it's an earth sign, which is all about tangible things, and Mercury is all about information. So Virgo rules facts because it's about tangible information. It's not like Gemini, which is just about information and gossip and ideas. Virgo is an earth sign, so it's about facts, evidence, statistics. So a lot of times these people need for things to be very specific when it comes to information, and they have this need to be informed, and they get a lot of comfort from reading the news or watching the news or consuming information on a routine or regular basis, whether that's something like Reddit, Twitter, or like a trusted news source. They will have a tendency to consume that on a regular basis, and they will tend to stick to like one source that they are comfortable with or that they are familiar with. So with that being said, the 11th house is the other side of this placement, and the 11th house is all about the things that we participate in, because it's all about groups and it's all about our individuality, what makes us unique, and it's all about extracurricular activities as well, because if you think about it, the 11th house is the house that comes after the 10th house. The 10th house is our career. So the 11th house shows things that come after our career. And what are those? Those are just things that interest us. It's our individuality, what we do outside of work, what we do when nobody requires things of us. It's what makes us unique, and it's the groups that we participate in as well. It's our friends or our colleagues that we hang out with after work or school. So in general, though, the 11th house can be summed up to participation, because it's all about networking and the things that we are part of, whether it's friends, whether it's associations, whether it's humanitarian endeavors, whether it's school groups, like extracurricular things. So essentially, a lot of people sum it up to friends as well and associations. And when the moon is here in Virgo in the 11th house, a lot of times it shows somebody that needs to be informed about the groups that they're a part of, or like they need to know the information about what their friends are doing a lot. So they can be quite nosy or like investigative in nature. Sometimes they need to know more than they really should, but they don't mind. You know, these people know that they're gossipy. not gossipy, but that they are nosy. And with that being said, also, the 11th house is about reasoning, and it's about logical convictions. And it's a lot to do with beliefs that we have for logical reasons. So these people have a logical or philosophical or humanitarian conviction in something, and they defend that because they have the moon here. The moon shows things that we defend or things that we care about. So they really care about some sort of humanitarian philosophy or like some sort of logical conviction, and they don't like when people cross that logical boundary or when people are unreasonable. So with that being said, they defend the things that they're a part of. They defend their friend groups or the collective that they are intellectually a part of. So also Virgo is about being practical and realistic. So these people also have this need to always make sense of things, and they have this really practical or realistic form of reasoning that they use, and that's one of their talents because the moon shows resources that we have. And sometimes resources don't have to be physical. Like somebody can have very high faculties intellectually, for example. And this placement of the moon in the 11th house, which is all about logic and reasoning, and it's in Virgo, shows that they have like this very specific, practical, or reasonable form of reasoning that revolves around statistics, information, or details or facts. And they hate when people cross that intellectual boundary or like that intellectual requirement. Like they don't like when people jump to conclusions using no facts, or like when people reason using delusion. Like this will make these people emotionally frustrated because they have the moon here. So they can get in arguments in those cases, or like they can get in power struggles with people that they believe are not being reasonable or are not using fact-based like reasoning or decisions. And again, they're very nosy, so they'll always like look into things more deeply, and like they'll a lot of times find when people are being unreasonable, especially when it comes to work. Like they're very nosy at work because the 6th house or the sign Virgo are very associated to work life and our day-to-day routine. So the people that they associate with on a day-to-day level are the most important to them. And on a general sense, which is kind of a tangent, but it's also the people that they're most likely to investigate when they have this placement or when people have this placement. So with that being said, this was a kind of a scattered video, but if I had to sum it up for you guys, just to make things more straightforward, it just shows somebody that cares about friends, associates, and the things that they are a part of. And a lot of times they require being informed. Like they need information about those people or what they're doing, and they'll seek it out themselves. And then finally, it shows somebody that has a very realistic form of reasoning, and they defend that point of view. So they'll get in a debate with somebody if somebody's being delusional or reasoning using non-tangible evidence. Now, finally, the last thing I forgot to mention is that Virgo rules the subconscious of others, because it's about details. It's about things that we notice that other people don't. And so that's why I can show people that are quite critical. And the last thing is that, you know, a lot of times you participate in your groups and your friends and your network through subconscious acts of service. So like you'll participate in ways that people don't necessarily fully appreciate or notice. Like you'll fix things up for people, or you'll fix up the order of things, or you'll organize things. But a lot of times it gets taken for granted. Because again, Virgo is about details and things that are very practical that we do, but that sometimes fly over the heads of other people. So that's an interesting side note about this placement. A lot of times they'll care for their friends or care for others through like subconscious acts of service that people don't like notice as much as the person themselves doing it. So with that being said, that sums up what I wanted to talk about for this video. I hope it was not too scattered. And I hope this resonated and that you guys enjoyed. If you did, and you saw yourself in any way, or somebody else in any way in this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. And other than that, I'll talk to you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.